Welcome to the Photo Flunky Show, episode number 77. Today's topic is going to be a little interesting. We're talking about who are the enemies of your photography. Thanks for joining us. My name is William Beem.
Hi, my name is Lee Beem.
And before we get talking about your enemies, let's give you just a little bit of housekeeping. Show notes are going to be available at williambeem.com/episode 77, and you can find a transcript of the show there for free. Links to subscribe are on that page, or you can go to photoflunky.com and find this and all of our other episodes. Also, I want to let you know I've got a free ebook for you. It is called Creative Portraits. It is about the emotional and creative side of portrait photography rather than any of the technical issues that go on. You can get it at williambeem.com/free book, or you can text the phrase CP book to 33444. This is kind of a topic I guess you don't really hear very much. Why worry about enemies of photography? Really what we're getting down to are these are the people, or in sometimes the things, but mostly the people, who can cause fear, uncertainty, and doubt in your photography. In other words, they're the ones that make you question yourselves, or they're the ones that kind of just get inside your head and can really mess with your photography. So these are people and things that you just want to be aware of and know how to deal with them.
Yeah, and often it's not people who are necessarily criticizing anything that you've done. They may never have said a bad word to you, but they have this kind of arrogance and air of superiority about them, and they make you feel inferior. And I know because I lived in the shadow of some of those people when I started off with photography. And then I thought, I'm a big girl. I know what I want to do. It doesn't involve you, so I'll see you later.
This is something that I think a number of photographers, after a while, they get past. But when you're starting off and you're still learning and you're still trying to understand concepts, these little enemies can come up and just really knock you back for a step. It's not that some of them aren't even trying to. Some of them maybe are trying to showboat themselves. It's the kind of thing that gets in your head. It's like, well, maybe I'm not good at this. Why can't I do the same thing that someone else does? And we just wanted to bring some of these up to kind of put them in your head and give you some thoughts about how to deal with them. As far as enemies, the first one, this is the most common one, and it's the ones I call the ignorant. And these are the people who say, hey, that's a nice camera. It must take great pictures.
It does.
It really does.
Here, I'll give it to you. Mess up the settings, hand it over.
There's a number of responses I've heard from this, and we'll get to our responses later on. But, some of the people said, yeah, here it is. Hold it. See if you can take some pictures after you've messed up the settings.
I can tell you, my first DSLR, I didn't know how to use it. And the worst photos I ever took were with that camera. So yeah, it was a nice camera. It did nothing for me.
Or the other response I've seen people have is put it down on a table, say, camera, go take a nice picture.
Yes. Did it work?
What do you know? It needs me.
Damn.
And those are not the responses that we're recommending, but those are some of the ones that we've heard. Ignorant people don't mean you harm. And I'm calling them ignorant, not that they're stupid, that they're simply not experienced with photography. And they're actually trying to be complimentary. You know, if they see you with a nice DSLR or a nice camera, or if they look in the back and they say you've taken a really nice photo, they think it's the camera that did it, because in their experience, they don't get photos like a good photographer can find. They don't understand the rules of composition. They don't understand how color works, or a number of other things that really go into making a nice photograph. So they think it's the camera. And I've seen this happen before. People say, nice camera. It's like, well, what about me?
Yeah.
I almost hate to use the word enemy with people who don't know any better. We're going to put it in there anyways, because these are people that can get inside of your head. Try not to get too flustered by it. We'll save that for the next one. And that is the know-it-all.
Oh, that must be one of my favorites.
These are the people who give you unsolicited critiques online or give you advice that you didn't request.
Yeah, like you'll go and post a photo that you just snapped with your phone, or maybe a snapshot that you took of your family having fun, or your, beer and chips on a nice Saturday afternoon. And then they want to go and critique the photo like it's a photography critique thing. Really, get over it.
Everything that you post online isn't necessarily submitted for critique.
In fact, I would say if you don't ask for critique or post it in a spot that is dedicated to critique, it's not. No, unless you've specifically requested a critique. This is advice I'd give to everybody is, if you like the photo, it's fine to say so. If you don't have anything nice to say about it, move along. I don't think I've ever gone on and given critique to somebody's photo that is not complimentary. I comment if I like the photo. If I don't, I really do just move on. I don't see any point in spending time on something that doesn't appeal to me.
No, I don't either. And if I'll look at it, and I've got friends that take photos, and some of them do really great work, and some of them do work that is not to my taste.
Yeah.
I'll put it that way. And you know what? It doesn't mean it's a bad photo. It means it's not a photo that I would have taken. And I don't want to go out there and criticize a friend or even a stranger for something that maybe I didn't get what they were doing. Maybe I would have done it differently, but that doesn't necessarily mean what they did was bad. Or maybe they just put up a really horrible photo. No one's going to feel better if I say anything.
I mean, it's like anything. There are some extremely talented people who do things where I have no interest in what that person is doing. Now, I might have interest. If it's a friend, I'm going to be interested in the person. It's not a personal thing if somebody doesn't care for the style that you use.
The other enemy that we're talking about are the non-believers. And these are the ones that put doubt into your head. They doubt your capabilities. They doubt your art. They doubt your equipment. They doubt everything or anything. Basically, they're the ones that make you question yourself. Am I really not good enough? Am I really that bad? Yeah.
And I think sometimes when I say don't fall for it, just be aware that it does affect you initially. I think precious few of us are able to be completely immune to it. Experiencing it actually helps you to get over it and come out the other side with more confidence than if you just brush it off and move on.
And you're going to go through some different emotions, I think, based upon what these are. It's like, someone says, nice camera, must take great pictures. You could be a little bit irked, or you might even be a little amused, depending upon where you are in your own photography journey.
I used to be irked. Now I find it funny, and I'll almost kind of rile it up and then like anymore.
I kind of smile, said, yeah, it's a wonderful camera. And that's why I spent, whatever I spent, you have some fun with it, but that's about the extent of it. The know-it-all, those are the ones that irk me.
Yeah, the know-it-alls are a lot of fun.
Trust me, there are people I know who actually do know it all, and they're great people. They will help you, but they will not give you unsolicited advice. They will not tell you, well, you could have done this or that, unless you're asking them for it. Those are the know-it-alls I really appreciate.
Yeah, but somebody who knows it all is not a know-it-all. I think a know-it-all is different. The know-it-all is the one who really doesn't and wants to come across as though they do. It's like you said, I think on the money there. The ones who really know everything aren't just going to go and offer advice when it's not requested.
Well, we had an example of this. We used to be on a forum called the Diz Boards, and there's a photography section in there. And there's a woman who was the know-it-all.
Oh, yeah.
Trust me, she never posted any photos. When I found some of her photos, they were horrible.
Yes.
But she was going to photo school. She knew everything. And technically, she would talk about all these other things. Artistically, she had no merit whatsoever.
She's by no means the first person where we've had a fallout individually, and not even as a couple. I mean, I think the first fallout came, we were just friends. We weren't even dating at the time.
Yeah.
But we've subsequently met more people who we've made contact online, and it's turned out that these know-it-alls are usually people who have they have a degree, they're technically perfect, and their stuff is just
dull,
flat. What is that?
Yeah, you can pick up a camera, you can take a picture, and you have all the technicalities right, but there's no life to it. There's no image. There's nothing that really draws you into it.
But post a photo of your puppy chewing on a carrot, and you'll get all sorts of things of what ISO did you have, and it's blurry, and it's not sharp enough, and did you use lighting? No, I took it with my phone.
We don't want to spend too much time on that but that's what we mean by the know-it-all. Someone who thinks they know it all clearly doesn't, and needs to make sure that you know that they know it all because they're critiquing your work.
Yes.
And the non-believers, these are the ones that I think kind of suck the soul out of you. And I don't think it's because that they're trying to suck the soul out of you. I think it's because they have their own doubts. So clearly they don't judge you as being good enough to believe in you.
That's true. I think all these people are actually an important part of growing we're speaking photography here, and this is by no means limited to photography, but it does help you grow, because I am affected very differently now from what I was when I started out. I think a lot of that is just confidence in getting the joy and your own achievements out of what you're doing, and not feeling like you have to meet some kind of standard. And when you don't feel like you need to measure up against some bar, it's so much easier to step back and smile and enjoy it. And I welcome my non-believers now and my ignorant people and the know-it-alls, because they make things a little bit fun. And more importantly, they attract new fans for me, because they get me attention. Because while they're busy out there, criticizing, other people are having a look and think, well, I didn't think it was that bad. They're actually a very important part of marketing for me.
I think that you hit the nail on the head. These people are part of your growth and journey as a photographer. If you're sharing things online, you're going to find all these people. Even if you're not online, the people who say nice camera are usually the ones that are next to you, if you're out in public taking photographs.
And they're paying you a compliment. They're being nice.
They really are trying to be nice. They don't know any better to understand that it's the photographer that really makes a difference rather than the gear.
And non-believers are generally, I don't think, intending to be mean in any way either. Most of them, at least.
I think those are people that have their own doubts and they're projecting those doubts upon you.
Yeah.
Because maybe they haven't seen you grow enough yet. And that's okay. Not everybody is going to be at the same level. I have a lot of room to grow myself, and I keep trying and pushing for it. I'm certainly not at the peak of my journey, but as you go through your journey, you gain some self-confidence as you've done more and more work and you've dealt with some of these enemies. You learn that they should not get inside your head. And once you've got that self-confidence, it's like you said, you can kind of laugh it off a little bit. That brings us to our last section is, how do you deal with your enemies? For the ignorant ones, I have a simple solution. I just smile, nod, and walk away.
That's kind of what I do.
I don't mean to be rude about it either. That's why I'm smiling. And I'll nod. I might say thank you or something along those lines. But I don't want to get to a big debate or discussion over it's really me and not the camera that makes this up, because that's kind of pretentious. And it takes away the fact that, even though they were ignorant, they were trying to be nice and pay you a compliment.
They really were. And I mean, somebody who doesn't know because they're not into photography, why get upset with somebody because they're not into photography, and why expect them to know everything? And lots of things I don't know anything about.
Yeah. So I just smile, nod. I may thank them for the compliment. Even, if it wasn't exactly what I wanted to hear, it's okay. Thank you so much for the kind thought.
Yeah.
And then move on. All right. Now we're up to the know-it-all. This is the one that's probably, like I said, the most irksome to me.
See, I actually like the know-it-alls because they're so much fun. It's such a quick, it's like an instant hot button, and you go from 0 to 500 in 0.2 seconds. It's wonderful. And you can just sit there and watch.
All right. The thing with the know-it-all is, since they know it all, they really get upset if they find out that they don't know it all. But I'm not there to upset anybody. So my advice is still the same. Smile, nod, and walk away. But Lee has a little bit of a different approach.
Well, I do everything he does, but before I walk away, I like to stand there and kind of like dance around a little bit. This is figuratively speaking. These are the people who garner my attention. If you want to draw more people to have a look at what I've done, you're going to bring in some more fans. So I'm not going to beg somebody to like my stuff. You like it or you don't. You like me or you don't. And you've probably, if you've been listening to us for a while, you've realized I'm extremely opinionated. I've got an opinion about everyone. I've got quite a strong personality. The flip side is that I'm one of those personality types where lots of people love me, and the ones who don't like me really don't like me, and they say so. That's just part of the way I deal with people in life, and you have to find some fun in it. And yeah, I'm going to make sure the fun's at their expense, not mine.
See, I can imagine why anybody doesn't like you. I love you.
Oh.
But yeah, the know-it-all, I don't think you're going to convince any of the know-it-alls that they don't know it all. And I don't think you gain anything from trying to convince them that they don't know it all. You're using that as an opportunity to get attention, and maybe you'll find some other fans.
Yes.
My personality is different. I'm just not interested in a debate with someone who either doesn't understand what I did or is condescending to me about what I did. And I just smile, nod, walk away. And that pretty much ends it right there. I know where I am in my photography journey. I don't need someone that I haven't requested to tell me what's going on, especially if I haven't seen their work, or if I have seen their work and they're not really. I've had criticism from people who, in my opinion, were not up to the level that I can do right now.
Yeah, it is a bit of a judgment call based on the situation. Sometimes there really are times to just ignore it and not say anything. If you're not in the mood for it, I mean, I've got to be in the mood to have some fun, to engage. If I know I don't have the time or inclination to get into it and, play around and upset them, then basically I don't have time for the game. I'm not going to start it.
No, and that's me. It's like I've got other things to do. I'm a busy guy. And especially with my photography, I'm enjoying it. I want to have fun. I don't want someone to bring me down, getting into a debate. It's kind of like the old thing. If you get into an argument with an idiot, they bring you down to their level and beat you with experience.
Yes.
All right. Finally, the non-believers. My advice is still the same. Smile, nod, and walk away. I can't make a believer out of everybody. And either you look at my photographs, either you like them and you believe in them, or you don't. And either answer is really fine. Art is subjective. Not everybody's going to like the way I do things. A lot of people take much better photos than I do. And I'll continue to grow as I continue taking photos.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to do the same things that they're doing.
Exactly.
So maybe we're on a different path that's parallel rather than in the same line.
Exactly.
So it's fine to have a different track. And I think some of the non-believers come from a different track that they don't realize that you're not trying to emulate them, or maybe they're not up to maybe they've got a lack of confidence in themselves, but they're on a different journey. It's okay.
Not everybody. They don't realize that you can have more than one goal going in the same direction and do it differently. Again, I just say smile, nod, and walk away. Yeah, the non-believers, I think the reason I I'm happy to just leave them be is because they're not really exciting. They don't get as excitable as the know-it-alls. You don't really get to have any fun with them. So it's not really worth my time. They don't do much for me.
Actually, all of these little enemies do something great for you. And you mentioned it earlier. They help you build confidence. They help you evaluate the work that you're doing and see where you are on your own journey. And you look at something and say, you know what? My work is fine. Or I know where I can improve my work. And then you keep on going. Thank you very much for listening to the Photo Flunky Show. Show notes are going to be available at williambeem.com/episode 77, and you can get a transcript of the show there for free. We would really appreciate it if you would subscribe to the show. There'll be links on the show notes page for iTunes, Google Play Music, and a few others, as well as on the Photo Flunky site. Finally, don't forget, if you'd like to get the free ebook, Creative Portraits, you can go to williambeem.com/free book or text the phrase CP book to the number 33444. Thank you so much. We'll see you again next week.